You're listening to the New World to Go podcast with your hosts, Redbyrd and BDLG.
Hello and welcome to another episode of New World to Go. I'm your host, Redbyrd, and with me is my friend, BDLG. Bordy, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Yo, dude, I'm doing good, man. Doing good. How about yourself?
Good. Yep, doing good. Another day, another dollar, so to say. We got a great show for you guys tonight. We actually have, of course, some exclusive Reekwater content to talk about tonight. There was an event this week that let a lot of, or a few content creators in to play New World, the newest zone, and a lot of new features there. So we're going to talk a lot about that tonight, or at least the experiences. And then next week, we're going to break down all the patch notes. I know you guys probably are maybe are here to hear that about those, and we are definitely going to talk about them, but we're going to talk about them on next week's episode. Real quick, guys, if you haven't already, go check out the Studio Loot YouTube. Me and Bordy have teamed up, and now we're putting videos out almost daily for you guys, and a lot of it's been New World content covering this Reekwater event, so if you have missed that, go over there, hit the sub button, and check out those videos. We're going to continue to work on those, man, and me and Bordy are both like, yo, the fire's been relit, Bordy, the YouTube fire anyways. I'm extremely stoked to be working there.
Yeah, man, it's been a lot of fun.
So, so why don't we get right in there, Bordy? I'll let you take over from here.
Yeah, so as we know at this point, Red, you had a chance to participate in the Reekwater event with the other content creators, which was awesome. You represented Studio Loot well during that time. So in this episode, we just kind of wanted to go over how your experience went and how the overall event went and get your feel on Reekwater, the zone itself. And then we'll have a few other discussion topics in here to go over. But because you had the chance to play in this is why we're not going over the patch notes or taking like a deep dive into a lot of the mechanics on this particular episode, is because we wanted to talk to Red and ask him about the event, because I know I, for one, have been very interested in how it went. So, Red, first off, how long was this event? Like, how long did the creators get to play during this event?
So there were two subsections. One was meant to be for EU, and the other one was NA. The NA group got to play around 3 hours, and that was they gave us pre-built characters, so we didn't. I mean, we were all level 60. We all had an inventory full of gear that we could build out our character with. So, minimal time was spent just getting everything situated, and then, they gave us about 3 hours to play.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, there was a new zone, and that's kind of why they brought you guys in, was to kind of showcase this new zone called Reekwater. So Reekwater is an in-game zone, level 58 to 60, or 65.
I mean,
there's 65 mobs in there?
Yeah, there are 65 bosses in that zone.
So that's why you got boosted up. That's why you're able to just kind of get boosted up to max level and run through that zone. So this was specifically for that zone. So what are your overall thoughts on like the aesthetics of Reekwater and just how it looked, the vibe you got whenever you walked into Reekwater? Is it a really cool zone, or what are we talking about here?
Yeah, overall, I think New World does environment and art style very, very well, and Reekwater was no exception. Reekwater is a like swampy, like bayou type area. The settlement there definitely holds true to that. It's a really cool swampy tree house style place that's it's got a lot of really cool character in it. The whole zone does, and it just they do a great job with just lighting and setting the mood with the fog and the swamp, and of course we're going to talk a little bit about this later, but the settlement's a fishing village in the bayou, so it's really, really cool, dude, to kind of just see that painted out, because I feel like there aren't any other zones like Reekwater, which some people during the preview event did mention that some of the zones are similar, especially like the southern zones, and then in the mid-tier, mid-southern, there was 2 or 3 zones that were pretty similar in style or design, but Reekwater is not like that. It's a really, really unique, cool zone.
Yeah. So I have been able to see some of the footage from this event, and I will say that a lot of the zones in New World, and I know a lot of people kind of have this same, I guess it's a complaint, I guess, I don't know, because overall New World does such an amazing job on aesthetics and the feel of the game that this is kind of a minor thing, but I do feel like some of the areas are almost copy pasted, like for some of the settlements, they're just kind of a copy paste. But Reekwater, watching you play through that, dude, that it looks amazing. It doesn't look like any other zone, like you had mentioned. And the settlement there in Reekwater, what's it called? It's called Reekwater Hamlet, I think is what it's called.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. So the settlement there, dude, looks so freaking cool. And the houses there are tree houses, dude. Like, bro, they're sick. Like, did you walk into any of the houses and kind of check those out while you were there? I'm sure you did.
Yeah, definitely. I went to the top of the, just the highest building that you could buy, the housing, and it obviously, they're not going to miss an opportunity to make the highest point of the city a house. So you could go up to the top of the fishing village, and there's a tree house up there that has like a great view of the swamp and like the entire zone of Reekwater, dude. It's really, really well done, dude. It's really sick. And just the vibe that place puts off is really, really cool, man.
Yeah, I watching the video, I absolutely loved it, man. It was really awesome. I wish I could have experienced it firsthand with you. You are a lucky fella, man, because I'm sure it was an amazing time. So one of the other things I wanted to talk about is kind of the size and the location of the zone. So is Reekwater similar in size to the other zones, or is it bigger or smaller?
Yeah, I think relatively the same size. They're all pretty similar in like square footage or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it's on Reekwater, for those of you who haven't looked at our videos, and first off, what are you doing? Go over to Studio Lou YouTube, dudes. The zone, all the cool stuff is over there. So if you want visuals for this, go check out those videos that we put up on the channel. But yeah, the Reekwater is located in the southeast area of Aeternum. So, and it's really cool. Me and you have talked about this before in one of our other videos, is they place that Reekwater in an area that isn't really like what you would consider like the in-game or the in-game area of the map. Everybody was and they kind of made some points about this as during the preview event, that everybody thought that it was kind of maybe not so good that all the end game zones were up in the northern part of the map, because as people leveled up and traveled up there, then they would leave the newer zones kind of dead. And Reekwater's actually smack dab in the middle of like the new player zones in the southeast part of the map. So it's in my mind, it's perfect location for it. And again, it is exactly what you'd expect from a new zone. It's the exact same size and has a lot of content in that zone.
Nice, man. So that's one of the things I wanted to talk about too, is just the location of this zone, because we have mentioned that a couple times on the podcast, where we're a little bit concerned that all of the in-game content is to the north, so that makes all of the southern part of the map irrelevant. And that's how it was in the preview event for sure. But now with Reekwater down there in the southeastern parts, it seems like that's going to shake things up a little bit. So I'm pretty excited that they decided to make that happen. And it makes you wonder, like, what do you think is going to happen with any new zone that they add? Do you think they're going to continue to put them, because we talked about this before too, how it would be nice to have kind of the in-game zones almost in a circle around the entire map, or something similar, so that it gives you a reason to kind of explore the rest of the map. What are your thoughts on where do you think they're going to continue to put zones?
Yeah, I hope that they continue to spread them out. They do already. I think they do a pretty good job at making sure like the resources, like important resources, are abundant in only like one or two areas on the map. That makes people have to like, oh well, if I'm a blacksmith, or if I'm if I work in leatherworking, or if I work in woodworking or whatever, I have to go to a particular zone to get the in-game stuff, or at least I have to, if I'm going to be efficient, or the most efficient I can be with gathering the stuff that I need to craft high level stuff, I need to go into the lower area zones as well. And I think that I hope they continue to do that. And to that point a little bit, Reekwater is supposed to be an in-game fishing zone, which is interesting because they've never really mentioned in-game zones for crafting and gathering yet. So I thought that was, pretty interesting that they placed that there, and hopefully they'll do more stuff like that as well.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I hope so too. So speaking of that, we did talk about that a little bit in our video that we posted over on the Studio Loot YouTube channel as well. And for those of you that don't know, this particular podcast, it is in video form on the Studio Loot YouTube channel, but it is also available where all podcasts are found. So that's kind of the difference. We also post a little bit of extra content over on the YouTube channel. So if you're interested in that, go check that out. But you make an interesting point there. Like having very specific zones for very specific in-game resources, not just resources, but in-game resources to make those zones a lot more valuable for people to go try to take or fight for. And I hope that they lean into that a lot more as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So what about points of interest in Reekwater? Red? You said there was a ton of content in the zone. Did you come across any like really cool points of interest, or maybe some open world dungeons or big boss mobs or anything of the sort?
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously some open world bosses in there. There was an open world dungeon that kind of scales up into the trees. Into these like wrecked pirate ships. It's a really cool, like it's like a pirate ship graveyard type of thing, and it kind of scales up and up and up, and it's really really cool. We're plugging this pretty hard. People are gonna get annoyed with us, but we're making a video about that zone on the YouTube channel. So if I can't remember the name right now for some reason, I'm drawing a blank. But anyways, it's in the smack dab in the middle of the zone. They have our friend of the podcast, Mr. Sir Medieval, thought that he found a new arena there. He was able to kind of sneak into the back door of this new place that's thought to be, a new arena. So it's kind of like the Spriggan Arena. So that's pretty interesting. You would think that most in-game zones are going to have something like that as well. So yeah, man, lots of cool stuff there. Obviously, I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but it is considered to be an in-game zone for fishing, which is pretty cool, dude. And I, like I said, hope that they further explore that, because it would be cool to have like some, like even the Shattered Mountains towards the north part of the map, having that like this like extremely important mining zone, because that's the only place you can get a rare rock that that you need in all in-game crafting. Stuff like that's really cool, man. And it causes points of interest, right? If you're like into PvP and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think the issue, like the northern part of the map, there was like a more rare mining up there during the preview event. But the problem with that part of the map is that there's not any settlements up there. At least there wasn't during the preview event. So it's not like you could go take over that area, right? So with Reekwater, it's a little bit different because there's a settlement there,
yeah.
and it's for in-game fishing. So it just seems like you would be more enticed to go try to fight for that settlement, So what about any new mobs, man? Did you find any new mobs? I've seen in a couple of videos some huge like boss mob walking around, like some big pirate mob that I think Sir Medieval fought, and then I think I seen Force try to fight it, yeah, and he kind of freaked out a little bit and ran away, I think. But I think Sir Medieval killed it in his video, which was
dope.
Did he
really? I'll have to watch
I think
that.
so. Yeah, so stuff like that is awesome. I would love to see them add more open world encounters like that. But that mob was enormous. He was huge and looked pretty challenging. So Did you see that one? Did you see that one? I
didn't run into that mob. No, I was kind of. I didn't. I think it was. I went through that zone, but I didn't. Someone must have killed it before I got through there, because I didn't run into him.
Oh, you ran from it? That's what you're telling me?
Well,
you got scared and ran?
Listen, man. I would admit to fleeting victory.
I thought you would represent us well, dude. Not. Dang, dude. Yeah. Why are you scared of the mob, man?
Listen, man. So it's interesting to me because a lot of the bosses, or the world bosses, kind of in the preview event seemed to be like placeholders. There was that one mob. It was like the preacher. Do you remember that in the church? In I think it was Brightwood.
Yeah, I remember that.
That boss was seen like in multiple different places on the map, and just with different names. But it was cool to see them actually flesh out a world boss like that has like its own mechanics, its own abilities, its own appearance. It has a gigantic cannon on its back. It's pretty cool, dude. I would love to see more stuff like that from the New World team, is like unique world bosses that are challenging, like literally you can't defeat with, you can't solo. You have to use a group to kill. That would be cool.
Yeah, the mechanics on that thing looked pretty cool, dude. And then there was what are they called? The tentacle thing, not tentacle things, but what are they called? The things that come out of the ground. I forget what those things are called, man. The creeper. Are they creepers? Is that what they're called? Something like that. The big
I know what you're talking about. They're
come out of the ground.
They're very similar to the corrupted breach mob, the main mob that comes out of the ground, but they're plants and they have like poison attacks and spore attacks. They're pretty sick, and the zone is heavily I guess infested is a good word for this, with angry earth mobs and ancient mobs. Those are pretty prominent. Also, a lot of pirates with new pirate mobs as well. So, there was a lot of cool, like even just like elite mobs in that area that I was talking to you about just now. The open world dungeon that are unique that we've never seen before. And one of the other things that was really cool about the pirate mobs is they have these like totem type things where they applied an area of effect around that gave a debuff, and I thought that was pretty cool, man. Just those little touches in the new zone that kind of make the zone feel more alive and more challenging too.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I've seen those totem things that give the debuff. Those are pretty cool. I like that, man. I like the diversity that they're adding with the mobs. So these are actually in the patch notes too. And as we said before, we will make sure we go through a deep dive of the patch notes in the future. But this episode was just kind of intended to get Red's overview and input about how the event actually went and his overall feel of how the gameplay was. So one other thing is kind of the way the game actually felt in terms of combat, man. I know we just kind of recently talked about this too, but we want to do this in podcast form as well. So how was the combat, man? Did it feel smooth? Did it feel spammy? How did that go, man?
Yeah, overall, I think it's a pretty decent size improvement. I think a lot of people are worried about it becoming other games or other MMOs and become more spammy, like with abilities and everything like that, and less focused on tactile movement and light attacks and heavy attacks. But that's not the case. The game, is still designed around that core, which is, like the Dark Souls type feel of, having to make sure you defend and attack and dodge and all those things. So those are still very prominent parts of the game and the combat. But the global cooldown system is gone, which is really, really good. Me and you have mentioned several episodes before this one about how that needed to be changed and how that kind of made combat feel not very smooth. It was just always kind of seemed like you're waiting on a cooldown, or if you accidentally use your life staff ability and then you swap to your sword and board when someone gets close and you have your shield bash on cooldown just because you use that healing ability. It felt kind of bad, man. It just didn't feel like it flowed very well. And the changes that they made, in my mind, greatly improved combat.
Yeah, so since you had a chance to play this thing, one of the big questions or one of the big comments people are saying now is that they're wanting to see them even further reduce the amount of weapons you get from 3 to 2. Which, since you have actually had firsthand experience with the combat system now, what's your thoughts there, man? Do you think that reducing it to 2 weapons would feel better? And do you think 3 is too many?
Yeah, I've always been, me and you, I think both share this opinion. That we've always been in that camp that reduce the global cooldowns and then remove it to 2 weapons. Just because 3 does seem like, again, a lot to flop back and forth between. When the way that they've got designed it now and last month's patch notes, they told us that they basically changed the way focus worked, and now each of the rules or different types of weapons scale off of all the different statistics. So it just makes sense to me because of the limitation that they currently have in the game, which doesn't mean they're not going to add a ton more weapons before launch. But right now, with the current amount of weapons, it just feels better with 2 weapons. So you're not really having to be, I guess, forcing in everything. To me, there's not really a reason to run a musket and a bow, right? And that seems like if you're on a dex build, if you're trying to be more optimal, I guess that would be something you'd want to do. And then same with the strength build. You have your sword and board and your hatchet, but then like, what is going to be your next? What is your back bar? Those choices become like, I guess you could use those as utility, but how good are those heals going to be if you choose a life staff? How good are the, your fire staff ability is going to do if you choose the fire staff if you don't have any intellect? And maybe they do want to kind of challenge people to build more hybrid builds, right? But for now, I think because of the weapon selection that they currently have, I think 2 weapons would work better. It doesn't mean if they don't add a ton of more weapons that 3 might work better. But maybe like a short range, long range, and a melee weapon, like something like that might work. If they choose to go down that path, they add a bunch more weapons. I know the pistol would be maybe a dexterity weapon, so then you would have like the spear is a melee weapon, and pistol is a short range weapon, and then your musket or bow is a long range weapon. Things like that could work, but they have to add more weapons at this point. So if they plan to launch with this amount of weapons, which I really don't think that they do, then I think 2 weapons would feel a little bit better.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that now, even with the changes to the cooldowns. I didn't know how that would feel actually playing them. I've always been in that camp too, that I think that just removing the global cooldown and dropping it down to 2 weapons would be really good, I think, for this for the play style that this game has. But it's interesting that now that you've had experience with it firsthand with the new cooldowns that you still feel that way. So we'll see. I think I do believe that if they add more weapons, that could change as well. So I agree with you there too, but we'll just have to wait and see, I guess. So the last thing that I kind of wanted to ask you, I know this is kind of probably a little bit of a shorter episode, but again, this is just a brief overview of Reekwater. We are most definitely going to do deep dives into every aspect of this as time goes on. But fishing, dude, they added fishing to the game. For those of you that don't know, fishing is now a thing in New World. So how'd you like it, dude?
Dude, people are going to call me a fanboy, and you know what? I am a fanboy, so you can call me one away. But dude, fishing's amazing. It's a great addition to New World and the Gathering. Gathering in New World's so well done. Me and you talk about this all the time. It just feels good when you're mining. It feels good when you're chopping trees. And fishing is no difference, dude. It's definitely, and this isn't even like a leap. This is the best fishing that I've ever played in an MMO. It just feels good. The mini games, there's several mini games involved with fishing, and they all feel very like purposeful and smooth, and it's a great experience, man. Fishing's a ton of fun, dude. I might be a fisherman, I was gonna do Arcana and all that stuff, but dude, I mean, I may be a fisher boy now. You know what I'm saying? I might be out there catching the salmon and the trout and all the fun fish stuff.
It looked like a lot of fun. It was very action based and looked like a ton of fun, man. I'm excited to get in there and try all this stuff out too. It looks dope. So you have anything else you want to add? Like anything else cool that happened during your experience, or anything else you want to add before we kind of move on?
I want to leave a little bit to be desired, dude. We got plenty of episodes coming up now, in the future, and overall, I just want to say thank you to the New World team for letting me experience that. It was a ton of fun. Greg, you're the man. The whole team actually is very hospitable and very kind during the preview event, and I got a chance to play with a few members of the team. David helped me out with a quest and stuff like that, so it was really cool, man. It's a real experience. I'm very thankful for it. So thank you for the New World team, from the Studio Loop family, from New World fans, from New World to Go. We appreciate at least one of us having the opportunity to do that. And dude, I overall it's awesome, man. Me and you continue to talk about the game needs mid to end game content, and that's what Reekwater is, man. And really, like, if they continue to add content like that up until the launch, dude, I think we're good to go, man. I think we have there'll be enough there, right? To get
it
going.
Seems so. Yeah, I'm excited, man. Watching that content and looking at the footage and seeing the new patch notes and all that, we have so much stuff to discuss and talk about moving forward, and it's incredibly exciting, dude. I think that the game is moving in an excellent direction, and I cannot wait until May, dude. It's going to be so good. It's going to be a lot of fun. I feel it.
Yes, for sure. All right, man. Well, that about does it. Unless you have more stuff to say or ask.
We just have the company of the week, man.
Oh, yeah, dude. All right. Well, we don't want to take that away from them. Today's company of the week is the Hounds. So you take it away, buddy.
All right, man. The Hounds, they are a syndicate guild. Oh, shout out syndicate, dude. Let's go. Their focus is PvX, size 51 plus. They are currently recruiting. They are a little bit more of a hardcore guild. The Hounds, it says where playing hard is winning hard, dude. I like that. They're one of the largest guilds in New World OCE. Is that Oceanic?
Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. All right. The Hounds are multi-level gaming community, 12 years in the making. So if you want to be a part of like a really established community, man, there you go. 12 years.
Yo,
says they have a proven
multi-game?
track record, dude. Yeah.
All right.
Do what? Multi-game? Is that so?
Yeah. I just.
Yeah. Yep.
I like
Multi-game community. Yeah. They have a proven track record across MMO RPGs. They even play FPSs, survival games, and other types of games. And they focus on teamwork, organization, and diverse skill sets. And most importantly, fun, they say. So regardless, yeah, man, exactly. Regardless if you're expanding, hold on, wait. Regardless if you're expanding our kill count on the open field or exploring the realm for new treasures, we believe it takes a knowledgeable and diverse team of PvP and PvEers alike. So they are a growing core of Australian players, supported with the merit-driven individuals around the globe. And they say you can join a community of 500 plus members who seek to combine their strengths to create a more enjoyable gaming experience. So there you go, man. I will link that in all of the descriptions below. The company name there is the Hounds.
Yes, sir. And we thank you, every one of you who go over to New World Fans and sign up to promote your country and sign up for the account over there. Country. Did I say country?
Country. Yeah, dude, you're
company.
Tired,
man, I was doing so well too, dude. You messed me up, bro. You never messed up. You know what I mean? You never messed up, and you messed up tonight, dude. And I thought, dude, we're gonna have one show out of 50 that I don't mess up and you do, and I was gonna hang it over your head, and then, I did that. So, not today. All right, maybe in the next 50, right? Thank you guys for promoting your company over at New World Fans. We really, really appreciate it. We're extremely excited about the future of New World. Reekwater is just, dude, a massive encouragement for anybody. If you're a New World fan and you saw the Reekwater stuff and saw the event and all the content that came out of that, I don't know how you're not hyped about that, dude. It was really exciting to see them add an entire zone along with an entire profession. That's pretty big stuff, dude. And hopefully, and it's been exactly a month since they gave us the other patch notes with combat and everything like that. So, it's going to be a monthly thing, and that's also really exciting for us as content creators. So, guys, thank you for supporting us. We really appreciate it. Bordy, why don't you tell people where they can find you on the internet?
Yeah, absolutely, man. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/BDLG. Twitter is at the BDLG. And now we have combined forces on the YouTube, as we've mentioned 50 times during this episode, probably. But now you can find me creating content on the Studio Loot YouTube channel, and that will be linked in all of the podcast descriptions as well.
And I'm Redbyrd with a Y. You can find me over on Twitch under that name. On Twitter, I am Redbyrd. But first and foremost, follow the Studio Loot Twitter account. That's where we tweet out our videos. That's where we tweet out everything involving like new articles that we put up on New World Fans, new podcast episodes. All those things go up on the Studio Loot Twitter account. So follow that as well. All right, Bordy. Well, it's been great, dude. It's been great fun. Again, thank you for the New World team for letting us participate in that event. And we will see you on another episode of New World to Go.